Hi everyone, welcome back. I am so excited to play with makeup today. Today is actually my birthday and I'm actually going to be traveling back from San Diego today, so I know I'm filming this in advance, but this is how I would be doing my makeup for my birthday if I weren't flying back from a conference on my actual birthday. But I'm really excited to play with makeup. I'm really excited to try a new style of makeup with one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes. So before we get started, I would love if you would hit that subscribe button. It would mean so much to me, and we'll get going. So because I'm going to be gone on my actual birthday, I'm going out to dinner tonight. So I really want to do kind of a glamorous, full coverage type of look because I'm really excited to try out this new eyeshadow technique. So we're going to go into my Tarte Smoothing Primer to start with. And this is just to help fill in any of my pores. I'm also going to be using my Auric Glow Lust. I like to use this as a primer rather than as a highlight because I like the shine it gives and how it portrays through my foundation. So this is a second primer type of thing for me. So I just take a pump on the back of my hand, and I'm actually going to be using my Rose & Ben Beauty, the C41, to apply my foundation today. I've been watching her do this, and I just feel like I should give it a try because I originally tested out this brush just by applying blush because that's how I saw Rose do it, but she has started to use it for applying foundation, so I'm going to give it a go. For foundation, I'm going to go into my Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Airbrush Flawless Foundation. I love combining my Auric Glow Lust with this foundation. I think they are a beautiful combo. So I'm also going to put that on the back of my hand and just use the same brush to apply. So far, I'm really liking how this brush is applying foundation. It's applying foundation just as beautifully as it applied blush. Now I'm going to take what is ever left on the back of my hand on my sponge and just press everything in. Not that I think there are any brush strokes left, but this is my foundation routine, so I'm just going to stick with my routine. Because it's my birthday, I feel like I should get to use some of my favorite products, which, I mean, I typically do anyway, so we're going to go in with my Jouer concealer and my Givenchy setting powder. Okay, so I changed my mind while I was doing that. I just did a very light setting under my eyes with the powder, but I decided I actually wanted to do some cream contour, so we're going to go in with the Charlotte Tilbury Contour Wand. I know the dots are pretty popular on social media right now, so let's just do a couple dots. And then I'm gonna just stamp with a brush to blend it in. Start on my cheekbones here, but I think that looks really nice. The dots are pretty aesthetically pleasing too. I'm gonna do a little bit up here on my forehead. That is such a pretty contour bronzer type of product. This is really hard to get your hands on. I know it took me a very long time to actually get it, but if you can get your hands on it, it's not a bad bronzer by any means. It blends out very, very easily and nicely. Since I did a little bit of a liquid bronzer, I'm also going to go in with a liquid blush. This is from Rare Beauty. This is one of the new mauve shades in the shade Hope. And I'm going to do the dots. This is also the Rare Beauty blush brush. So hopefully it will just all look super pretty. I might have applied a little too much, but the powder, I will go back in with my Givenchy powder and that will help tone it down. But I do think it's a really pretty color. I'm actually just going to take my sponge, and since I used some foundation with my sponge, I'm just going to blend that out a little bit. I know it's kind of weird that it's my birthday and I decided to use cream products because I am typically not a cream product person. Like, I'm literally in the middle of a project pan deciding on whether or not I like cream products, like blushes and bronzers. And then on my birthday I decided to use cream products. It's weird, I know. But I do think that turned out really pretty. I'm going to see if there's any left over on the brush and dab it on my nose. Now I'm going to go back into my Givenchy powder and just really set everything. I do think I overpowered the blush a little bit because first of all you can still see it through the powder, which is wonderful, but I feel like I lost some of my bronzer So I'm going to go into my Patrick Ta Bronzer Contour Duo. Take the bronzer and just kind of bring a little bit more warmth back into my cheeks. Bring a little bit back into my forehead. Do a little bit down my nose. I am terrified to use that contour one on my nose because, I mean, they're pretty big dots. And the nose is such a small area. And then I'm also going to do a little bit of shading under my jaw. And then of course for highlight, I'm going to go into my Natasha Denona Glam Face Palette. I am still in love with this highlight. And I'm just going to highlight the high points of my cheeks. Look how pretty. And then because I am going out later tonight, I'm going to set my face with my Urban Decay All Nighter Spray. I did go ahead and prime my eyes. I just used my Rare Beauty eye primer. But now for the eyes, we're going to be using my Patrick Ta Major Dimension palette. This is one of my favorite palettes ever. And if you haven't checked out the Sephora VIB sale yet, I would highly recommend picking this palette up while you get a discount. So first I'm going to go into this shade, which is actually called Transition. And I'm going to take it on a really big fluffy brush and start that towards the crease and just kind of build it up to my brow bone. And I'm even going to connect it to my nose to kind of help the contour, like make it look like I contoured my nose, but I really didn't. But I'm just going to bring it in a little bit. Next, I'm going to go into this more red-brown shade. I believe it's called Mother. And I'm going to try to keep this contained in my crease in my outer corner of my eye here. There's a really pretty shade in this palette. It's the lightest color. It's not quite sparkly. Like, it's got a little bit of shimmer to it, but it's not like a metallic topper either. And I'm really excited to use that. So I'm going to dive into this shade, which is the lightest shade. This is the one I'm talking about that I'm really excited to use. It's called Divine. And I have this really cool flat triangle brush that I'm going to place this on the inner portion of my lid, and it is pigmented enough that you can kind of create like a cut crease look. I know it doesn't really look different from the eye that doesn't have it, but in my mirror I can see the little flecks of sparkle. And then I am going to go back into the reddish brown color we were using, Woman, I believe is what the shade name is called, and I'm going to place that on the outer half my lower lash line, and I'm going to connect it to the top color too. And I mentioned I was trying to do something a little bit different, which I know this doesn't look any different than what I normally would do, but I want to go into this dark cream shade because I don't use these cream shades too often in this palette, but I believe this darker shade is called Woman, and I'm going to take it on a flat angled brush and try to do some winged eyeliner. Normally I feel pretty good about my right eye. It's less hooded, so I think that turned out really pretty. But let's try to match it. I tend to struggle with my right eye a bit more. Well, eyes are not meant to be twins, right? They're meant to be sisters, cousins even, similar to that saying for eyebrows. So this is the best I'm going to get for eyeliner, but I'm actually pretty proud of it. I will say I'm pretty proud of it. But I'm just going to go back into that Divine shade, that lightest shade we were using, and put that on the inner portion of my lower lash line. I'm going to go back into that first brush we were using for that transition shade. I'm not going to take any more pigment. I'm just going to go around everything and just do one last blend. So I just used my Thrive Causemetics mascara and my Benefit Gimme Brow for my brows. So for lips, I'm going to go in with my Melt Cosmetics Perfectionist Lip Liner. This is in the shade Cinnamon. It's more of a red-brown, which I wanted to use to tie into the reddish-brown shade we used for the eyes. If I could talk while I put my lipstick on, I would, but it's really hard. For lipstick, though, we're going to go into Charlotte Tilbury. This is Bitch Perfect. It's more of a peachy shade, but I think it'll be pretty with this red-brown liner. I don't think this is actually a matte lipstick. I think it's more satin, but I do want to add a little bit more shine, so I'm going to go into my Maybelline Lifter Glass. This is in the shade Sun, I'm just gonna dab a little on. I don't think it made a huge difference, but it's definitely a little more shinier in the center of my lips. So here is my finished birthday look. I hope you guys like it as much as I do. I am trying to change things up a little bit. I'm trying to learn how to do eyeliner, and honestly, I'm pretty proud of how it turned out today. I'm pretty impressed with myself. I do enjoy a full coverage look, so that's why I wanted to use my Charlotte Tilbury foundation, but I also enjoy softer colors, which is why I wanted to use my Patrick Ta Major Dimensions eyeshadow palette. I feel like this eye look is very natural and soft looking and not too over the top, where you can still go out and feel comfortable and beautiful and have a nice time. So that was the gist of it. I'm honestly really surprised that I chose to use Creme products. I wasn't really expecting to do that when I sat down to film, but I do really like this blush from Rare Beauty. The shade is, in particular, really pretty to me, and it's lasting very nicely with powder over it. You'll have to let me know how you would do your makeup for your birthday. Would it be similar to what I have done, or would you do something a little bit more bolder, a little something out of your comfort zone? I would love to know your thoughts about how you would do your makeup. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. It helps me out quite a bit. Don't forget to ring the bell and hit all on the notifications, and you'll be notified every time I post a video. I'm here on Tuesdays and Fridays, 10 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.